So when did you guys? When was that moment for you guys where you were like, okay, this is hitting? Was it on stage? Was it at a rehearsal? Was it were you laying in bed one day? You're like, you know.
I think it was at a rehearsal. It was when we first came up with the original idea for Kicks.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yeah, at that time, that was with our old bassist Mike, and we were just messing around with ideas, and I suggested a song that me and Mike listened to a lot for him to pull an idea out of, and then it worked, and I matched with him, and then what we had was the chorus for Kicks, the little triplet part.
Yeah.
And then from there we just built a song, and I think we pretty much had a song going. And I think that was then where we were like, okay, this is a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro.
And that's definitely been the song that people are most receptive to.
Okay.
When we play live. If we have people that know us in the crowd.
For sure.
I mean, we put out a music video for the song because
Mm-hmm.
we thought it was the best song to do that with. And yeah, it's just that song. It's just one of those songs that can be universally liked.
Right.
I feel like, especially, I think it's really important too for an alternative band, where the music isn't so universal to everybody. I think it's really cool to have that one song that can appeal to a lot of people.
Right.
You know, musically and lyrically.
Yeah, I agree with you. In keeping with something he said a little bit earlier, something I kind of just not really have started to come around to in my own musical creation. We are in the customer service business. That is what we do. Even if we're not necessarily trying to service the customer, you know,
Sure.
we're definitely putting something out for them because we want people to listen, you know, and we can say we don't really care if anybody listens, and that is legitimate in its own right. But if nobody shows up, it's kind of hard to continue to have. It's hard to say you have a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's that's difficult.
You mean shows up to shows or shows up to being in the band?
Well, both, man. You know, I mean, even if you guys were extremely steadfast in what you do, you know, it's sort of like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it. If nobody's there, it doesn't make a sound. You know, it's like, well, yeah, you're creating all this stuff and you guys may fucking love it, but if nobody's coming, you know, it's like, well, yes, we're making music still. Yes, we're enjoying it. Now, why am I doing it? You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you now have a song that you feel like people can get with, if for nothing else, people will know you for that song. And maybe that'll be like the entry point for people to get with the other stuff that you're doing. Now, you said you were an alternative group. Like, do you all agree with that? You know, you consider yourselves to be. So what does that mean to you to be an alternative group?
Alternative, with definition, is like the counterculture of something that's popular. So whatever we as a band define as popular, we are alternative to that.
Okay.
So that's whatever you want it to be. So like if Kicks is alternative to us, I think it's alternative because it's alternative to the shit that I'm hearing or that I've seen. It could be alternative to hip hop. It could be alternative to whatever the fuck. We can say Kicks is a grunge song and be alternative.
Right.
People will disagree. Like, man, it's not a fucking grunge song.
Yeah.
But I could be like, well, it's alternative. You know what I'm saying? So that's my definition. I don't want to speak for you guys because
Fair enough.
No, we're pretty alternative. We don't really stick to one genre when it comes to like rehearsals or jamming. Yeah, for the most part, we try not to stay in a specific style. If Miles is playing jazz, if jazz is playing Miles,
Sometimes it happens, man.
yeah, and then we have Austin playing a funk bass riff, and I'm here coming in with a rock beat. And for some reason, it blends pretty well. And
Yeah, man.
we keep it that way, I guess.
I think that's soul. I think that's the soul.
Arranging that shit's hard as fuck, though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it is.
No
It's
doubt.
so hard. You gotta be like, damn, what the fuck is this gonna sound like?
Because a lot of times what we're dealing with are parts of songs that wouldn't normally fit together, but we find a way to make it kind of fit together. We have a lot of our new stuff is, I think, kind of like that.
For sure.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. What's his name? Fucking guitarist. Shit. Frank Zappa.
Krause.
Sure. I was gonna say But Frank Zappa has a very interesting interview talking about like what alternative rock is, and the interviewer was like naming off bands, and he was saying whether they were alternative or not. And one, I can't remember which group it was. It might have even been Devo or something like that. And he was like, "Are they alternative?" He was like, "Sometimes." So I mean, shit, for 30 some odd years now, I mean, alternative has a lot of different connotations to it, and if by your definition, if it's just counterculture to whatever pop music is, I mean that's a very broad view of alternative, and it's so broad it may even encompass some pop music. You know what I mean? Whether we want it to or not, you know. But how do you feel about being labeled an alternative group? Because that's a tricky thing. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is that the only reason we put a label on it, the only reason we call it alternative is because we don't really know what else to call it. Because we have our current bass player is a he got his degree in jazz bass performance. I'm a contemporary music degree.
Right.
Danny was an instrumental performance at Columbia Gardner's film student who has a hip hop background, and I have a classic rock background, and Danny has more of a progressive rock background. And our bass players are jazz. So like when we put all that together, we don't really know what to call it. So it's like, I mean, if we could get away with not labeling it, then we probably would. I feel like.
Yeah. You don't call yourselves a fusion group?
A fusion group?
Yeah. That might not be a term you're too familiar with, but like fusion is something in the musical world where that's another one of those things where it's like calling something smooth jazz when it's not necessarily jazz, but it fits in like a non-traditional R&B and or pop mold. They'll call it, yeah. So fusion can be, it's sort of like what you guys are. It's whatever you're fusing multiple styles together. They'll just call it fusion. You know what I'm saying?
And we'll say okay to that if that's what.
Sure.
If somebody wants to call it, that will be like, okay.
Yeah, if you want to call us, that's fine. I'm not gonna like be upset about it.
No, I feel that, man. No, I'm just, it's
you about it.
Yeah, it's like, bro, meet me in a parking lot, dog. Who the fuck told you I was a fusion group?
No, I mean, like we just say alternative, but if you want to say fusion, rock, fusion, whatever,
jazz,
go ahead, man.
Yeah, man.
Go crazy.
You got
ensemble.
Yeah, it's shout out Bill Boris. But hell, you know what? I hate labels, and I also understand the power of labeling. It gives people validation on some levels, and it also puts people in boxes. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't account for certain things, you know what I mean. Like, what do you put down on Spotify? When you upload your music or Apple Music, it's like, well, if we call ourselves a fusion group, some people may see us more as being jazz or have more rock. You know what I'm saying? But if we say, we're alternative, and we want to appeal to that rock crowd, that might be more the lane you want to find yourself in.
We do often get labeled rap rock by Spotify and Apple Music in that sort of light, so that is usually what happens. But we only use the labels when we have to.
I understand.
And we generally but it's important that we avoid it when we're actually working. Yeah. But when we come out with the finished product, whether or not people want the label it's up to them.
Sure.
Honestly, we're probably never gonna.
True.
Label it. I mean, we've tried,
right,
and we definitely have in the past. Because when people used to compare it, I mean, people still do, but when people would all the time compare us to Rage Against the Machine, we kind of just went with that for a while.
I did,
because our only song was a cover by Rage Against the Machine.
But okay, fair enough.
And the thing is, people don't listen to a lot of music. So like, I don't want to say that.
I know what you mean.
People don't listen to a lot of music, and then they're gonna look at us and be like, "Oh my gosh, you guys were in Rage Against the Machine." Even though there's literally a bunch of other people that can literally rap, and there's a guy with a guitar on it. Literally, there's like so many bands like that. If you say, "Oh, you guys are in Linkin Park," you remind me of POD. You remind me of even another rock band, Limp Bizkit. You remind me of that
Just
one guy. Right.
Yo, honestly, my favorite group at 12 years old was Limp Bizkit.
Holy shit.
Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water was an album I blasted in 2000 for a solid 2 years, man. So
what a scene.
Yeah, dude. It is what it is.
I love hearing him do break stuff, but when he does it live.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
The voice he does it in.
Yeah, dude.
Is you know what I'm
Fred
talking
Durst.
about?
Yeah, Fred Durst. Yeah, man. He's the shit, bro. I fucking love that group, bro.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. That's what's up.